anybody starting a shift after 11 o'clock. I just need to know so I can get you a vendor pass. You will not have to pay to volunteer. They do have a pretty good view of the main stage, so that is one bonus. Saturday is covered for the day and evening shifts, and I'm mainly looking for Sunday and Sunday evening. So if you can watch that Sign Up Genius to come out, I'll probably send it out one more time early this week, and Mr. Marlowe will send it to the kids. So let's go ahead and fill the slots. It's a real easy way to make some money for the members. So thank you. Enjoy.
And these two gentlemen have worked really diligently to put together a really special piece, and I'll send them over to you. This is After the Razor, and this is Finn Bach. They're going to tell you a little bit about the piece.
I'm After the Razor. I'm a senior, and that's Finn. He's a sophomore. This is a piece by Duke Ellington, or as recorded by Duke Ellington, called Body and Soul. That was a duet between their bass player at the time, Jim Renton, and Duke Ellington playing through the piece.
to offer recordings and everything, figure it out themselves. This is my lunch music all the time. I got to hear them during my lunch. It was a lot of fun. So congratulations, guys. That was fantastic. Good. All right. Jazz wanted to take a moment to warm up because they haven't really played yet, and we'll be right back.
Thank
So this next tune is a Duke Ellington tune. Some of you maybe have heard, maybe not. It's not necessarily one of the big ones. This piece is called Solid Old Moon. And this one is going to feature Tim Bacchio on piano. We're going to hear from Ian McPherson on trombone and Charlotte Richards on trombone. So please enjoy Solid Old Moon. So we're going to change things up a little bit. We're going to do a Gordon Goodwin Big Band tune. This one's a little bit different from kind of all of the big band stuff we've been listening to. This one's called Everlasting. We're gonna feature Denton Guns over on the piano. We're gonna feature James Lyda back on the trumpet and Mr. Will Jacobs on guitar. We can join Everlasting. So try to give them a chance to compose themselves before we play this one. This one is, if you made it out to Eugene Jazz Fest, this was kind of our big closer tune that we played there. This one is a really, really cool arrangement of a tune by Radiohead, if you've ever heard them before. And this is done by the Lawrence University kind of sanctioned what they call the Radiohead Jazz Project. And this was done by the late, great Fred Stern, who taught jazz at a couple of schools, mainly Lawrence University. And so this student's been awesome to work with. The kids really took to it and do a great job with it. Normally we would do this as our big closer. We actually have a couple of underclassmen playing on this one, and so they kind of agree we want some of the upperclassmen to kind of help finish our concert tonight. So this next tune is one that is really been fun to play, and we're excited to play it at our concert. So please enjoy Body Snatchers. And we're going to feature Mr. Will Johnson over on soprano saxophone on this one. It's the moment right before our last concert, our last song of our concert, that we're going to recognize our seniors in our spring concert. This group has done a fantastic job, and so I'm going to ask them to come on up. They're going to line up against the front so you guys can take a nice big picture at the end. So as I call them, they're going to come on up. They are also going to be receiving, now some of them already received it, but they're getting another one just for ceremonial purposes. They're getting a pink cord. This cord will be worn at graduation with all of their regalia. And the pink cord symbolizes that that student has spent 7 of 8 semesters of their high school career in a music class. That is, for those of you that know, scheduling these days at high school is really hard to keep music all 4 years. And so these guys made a sacrifice. They made it a point to prioritize music. And so we want to make sure that everyone knows who those students are when they walk across the stage at graduation. So as they come, come on up. Isaiah Bob. Connor Beck. Now, Wyatt wasn't with us for 7 of 8 semesters, but he's still a senior. We want to make sure we acknowledge him. Mr. Wyatt Conley. Devin Guns. William Johnson. Ella Krebsbach. James Locker. Ian McPherson. Christopher Race. Charlotte Richards. Evan Razor. Last but certainly not least, Zion Thornton. It'll make the picture look better. Yeah, we're gonna go. Yeah, well, there's gonna be people taking pictures. Let's give a huge round of applause for all of our senior class. This group of seniors has been an astounding group, especially in the world of jazz. When this group came in, our jazz ensemble was kind of in a weird spot where we're kind of transitioning from we were always meeting every other day in the same hour with 1,000 people in the room at the same time to a different format. And this group really latched on to the idea of jazz is an art form that needs to be listened to, needs to be studied, and this group really took that to heart. And many of them are now, they listen to jazz all the time. You'll see them at jam sessions around the metro area. You'll see them going to concerts. You see them taking lessons from people. They've just really taken it upon themselves to go to the next level for jazz. And it really shows, it rubs off on the people around them. And this group really set the standard for where our jazz ensemble could go. I'm super proud of them. And then just know that, obviously I say this every year in every spring concert, but I really do mean you guys should not be strangers. We want you to come back and visit us. We want you to come back and play. I'm really excited to see whenever you go and play. Many of them are going to continue on playing, even if it's not major. They're going to continue playing a jazz ensemble or band somewhere else, just for fun. Send me recordings. But I'm super proud of these guys. They are awesome, and we are really going to miss them. They leave some really big shoes to fill, and so yeah, stay out of trouble. All right, we've got This group has the top jazz award, so we're not giving this, or we're not giving out an MVP award, but we do have a most improved award for Jazz Ensemble 1. And so this person has, again, shown amazing growth and has really been an inspiration for those around them. Yeah, you got to hear them play earlier. So our most improved player for Jazz Ensemble 1 is Mr. Finn Baki. And then finally, the Louis Armstrong Jazz Award is an award given out nationwide to the top jazz ensemble senior at every high school that decides to do it. This is one that if you say that you are the Louis Armstrong Jazz Award winner, or you're the John Philip Sousa Band Award winner, everyone that's been in band across the country knows what they're talking about. This is a really big award, and it's not taken lightly. It's someone who has made a really, really big impact. And I think that when I think of this person, I really think of, they almost have like a family tree of people that have now studied with them, that they've kind of shown the ropes to, and themselves have shown immense growth. When I look at this person as a freshman to where they are now, they are like nearly unrecognizable. They are like just an amazing player, an amazing person, and I think almost everybody in the program looks up to this person as someone who they deeply care about and also admire for not only for themselves as a player, but as a person too. And so I'm really excited to award this year's Louis Armstrong Jazz Award to Mr. Evan Ray. Finish things up here, just a couple quick thank yous to my music department. You can see their names in the program. I want to say thank you to Caitlin Rubno, our student teacher, who's going to come back up to direct the last chart. I want to say thank you to my family, who's sitting up in the front. I love you guys. And thank you to everybody here, the band boosters, and all the parents. Thank you for your support. Jazz wouldn't be what it is without you guys. And yeah, so let's finish this puppy off. I hope you're ready. This is a cool, awesome chart. Well, actually, I think you're introducing this. Yeah, so, Caitlin Rubno, everybody. She graduates tomorrow. Yeah.
Hi everyone, as Mr. Morales said, my name is Caitlin Rubno, and I have the absolute pleasure of being the student teacher for this quarter. It's been an
I mean, I knew he was with her, but I didn't know. Yeah. Yeah, I saw her done it a couple times. Well, Norman and Papa Tuesday, the last thing she came in, I missed it by an hour. Yeah, I told the girl
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go find her. Maybe. What is your first name? Shelby. Shelby, you're here.
Yeah, I mean, I came back for a couple of
No, that's so valid. That's valid. That's exactly.
Yeah, I gotta come back for this.
Yeah. Well, there's gonna be a lot more.
I mean, that's pretty good. LDU's got like 5
I've been low key craving Panda Express.
I
know I need
Working on the glutes, huh?
like orange chicken.
That's right. Welcome to the club. You know, I try to talk about it, but you know, we've got time. What do you do? We have to keep following.
I was looking for you.
Yep. Yes. Yep.
It was, so that was before I had tested, I got tested and everything worked fine. I started that all the mic stands can go back. Good call. Can you take this back to me? Yes, it's got some, it's got a sword on it.
I don't know, he's got Facebook Live on. There's still 2 people watching. I don't know what to do with the Facebook Live stream. There's like still 2 people on there. Yeah. Fell asleep at the computer, maybe. That is above my pay grade, though.
Yes! There are more programs. Let's freaking go. Bye, Mr. Marlowe. Goodbye. Good job. Have a safe drive, Amy. Have a safe driving.
Safe driving.